Hey guys, today we're driving a 2016 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Hard Rock. This has a 3.6 liter V6 that makes 285 horsepower, a 5-speed automatic transmission, and it is the off-road ready version of the JK Wrangler. I'm here with my buddy Tom. This is your car. You bought this.
I did.
This is so out of character for you. I was so shocked when you bought it. You said you'd never buy an SUV, but this is kind of an enthusiast product.
Yeah, I don't know if you... I mean, it's an SUV technically, but it's an enthusiast vehicle. It's growing on me too. It's growing on you a lot. You're living that Jeep life. Very outside of my arena.
Yeah, you just sold your 5th gen Viper.
Yep.
And you're staying in the FCA family.
Yeah. I wanted to stay comfortable with the steering wheel buttons.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Identical.
Carried over. So we're going to walk you guys around this today. We're going to talk about some of Tom's ownership experience. As many of you may already know, Tom and I co-own the S2000, and the Hard Rock has some very exclusive features that are some are pretty neat features. So I'm going to have Tom walk me through some of them, and we'll just show you the exterior of this JK Wrangler Rubicon. We have a fresh set of Firestone Destination MT2 all-terrains, because the all-terrains that were on here were just unbearably loud, and these MT2s actually ride great. So note that while we're driving the vehicle. These are two 55/75 R17s. What color is this?
Mojave Sand.
Ooh, Mojave.
Do you want me to interrupt?
Tell me everything.
You called these all-terrains. They're mud terrains.
They're mud terrains, you're right. Important distinction. You get a little bit more noise from them, but they're surprisingly quiet and livable for now. We'll see how they are in 15,000 miles, if you even hold on to this for 15,000 miles.
As I mentioned, entirely outside of my arena, learning about everything. I've learned that mud terrains through experience, because the ones I replaced were just shot.
We've got one over here. The fifth wheel.
Actually just never got rotated, so it looks perfect.
That's right.
But it's a DOT stamp of like 2015, I think.
Yeah.
But this was the tire that was on it, and they wore down, and they were extremely noisy. And the more I talked to other Jeep owners, I realized just as you put miles on them, they get a little bit louder.
Yeah.
A little bit louder and a little bit louder. So
yeah, that makes sense.
You got some Mojave Sand, which was a desirable color. I love it.
It looks great. Yeah, I can barely see it now. It kind of blends in with the brownness that is Michigan in March.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this metal fuel tank filler cap.
That's a Hard Rock option.
Yep.
Black metal fuel filler.
We've got two red recovery points, front and rear.
Steel bumpers on the Hard Rock.
That's
front
right.
And back.
You added these LED taillights, not really for the taillights, but for the headlights.
Yeah.
Headlights really needed an upgrade on this. It was so hard to see at night. These actually look pretty good.
The halogens that came on this car were useless.
Yep.
So I replaced the headlights, and then while doing some exploring, I accidentally broke a fog light. I wasn't planning to replace those with LED fog lights.
Oh yeah, these are new. I haven't seen these yet.
I was kind of forced to do that because a little love tap.
Yeah,
so,
that's okay.
Broke that fog light. It was cheaper to replace it with an LED upgrade. So
Jeep things.
yes, it's adult Legos.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, all this bumper, this is all modular. It comes off.
Yep.
You've pulled these pieces off for extra approach angle, and we're going to be doing a separate off-road test on this Wrangler Rubicon out at Hollyoaks, but today it's going to be a pavement princess and
mall crawler.
a mall crawler. Yeah. This hood is also part of the Hard Rock package. The domed hood looks really good.
And there are functional vents inside, not very large. The vent itself is very small, but I like the aggressive look.
Yeah, it looks great.
Than just a large flat surface.
Yep. And how many miles does this have? This is pretty low mileage too, right?
For a 16, yeah, it's right around 71,000 miles.
Okay. What are these worth these days?
I don't know, mid to high 20s.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, the steel bumper on the front as well. So uncommon kind of for the JK. It differs slightly from the JL front bumper, but they look very similar at a glance. But great feature to have.
Yeah, I remember one of the first Jeeps I drove was a JK, and it was I think a 2016 is a final model year. And then when they introduced the JL after that, I was like, oh, this is a little bit more refined.
They don't change a whole lot.
They don't change a whole lot at all. It's true. They've stuck with the same philosophy, the same design.
Tons of storage in the back, something I'm not used to since SUVs are not my arena.
Yeah.
It's got the Alpine sound system. So
Oh, cool.
you got a subwoofer in there.
And it's all weather.
Yep.
Because
so
it says it.
if you have the top off,
Yep.
or top down,
It's a great place for Lucy the dog.
you can tell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Lucy
here she
loves
is.
it back here.
I bet she does. This is great. Padded roll bars.
Yep.
That's nice.
I did have when I bought it, it came with a soft top as well, which maybe I'll put on when it warms up more consistently. But right now the hard top is phenomenal. Helps a lot with road noise.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
It has the Freedom tops up front, so you can just pop those two off if you want to enjoy
Freedom tops.
some freedom.
Wow. I love that. Well, you are all about freedom.
I love freedom.
It's okay.
It's like Busch Light with breakfast.
That's right. Cool. Well, let's go and see what this can do.
The more I talk, the more I think maybe I should have bought a Wrangler sooner.
This can tow 3,500 pounds. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something.
Everything you need.
Yeah.
Everything I would need at least.
Yep.
Small trailer, jet skis, whatever.
I like how your floor mats have tread.
I think that someone will probably correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is actually a hard rock, like an all-weather specific hard rock.
Okay.
Not entirely sure. Again, not my arena. I'm learning though.
Yeah,
there's a
you're-
lot to learn.
You're just getting into the Jeep life. I mean, you don't even have a winch. You might want a winch.
Yeah.
Before this, you might have pronounced it wench.
You know, I prefer to just travel with someone while off-roading with someone that has a winch.
Sure.
And not just use their. It's like a boat. Best
Yeah.
boat is one owned by a friend.
What you need is a wench with a winch.
Not going there.
Not going.
Not touching that.
On that note, we should probably get going.
It's a short climb in.
It
It's
is.
entirely stock as far as, I mean, everything other than the headlights, brake lights, and fog lights. Entirely stock. No lift, no upsized tires, nothing.
Cool. No reverse
No winch.
camera.
No.
You just gotta look out the back and out of the mirrors.
Well, the spare tire is the furthest thing back,
That's right.
so you do have a small insurance policy there.
I've always maintained that even though Jeeps don't drive like any modern vehicle, they drive like something from 40, 50 years ago, they are charming and they are fun. What has your, like, when you first bought this, what were your initial impressions of it and how have those changed?
Yeah, so I had ridden in Jeeps, gone off-roading with you in multiple similar or cross-shopped vehicles, if
We
you
have
will.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, friends with Jeeps.
But you never pay attention as closely as you do it until you're seriously considering buying one or you own one.
Yeah.
Bought this sight unseen from Pennsylvania, and as I mentioned, the tires it showed up with that I replaced ultimately were just past due,
Yeah.
to put it nicely. And so my initial impression, which is always so large for how you'll perceive the entire ownership, was that it was just the loudest, rowdiest, roughest riding vehicle I'd ever owned in my entire life.
It was uncomfortable next to the Viper.
So
Yeah.
The first time I drove my daughter in it, she's 2.5, on the highway, she told me to get off the highway because it was too loud.
Yep.
So it was rowdy. I did some research, found the tires I wanted at a fair price, and it changed the entire characteristic of the ownership.
This is my first time driving / riding on these MT2s, and they're great.
Yeah.
They're comfortable, they're compliant, they're quiet.
I could have put anything on after those tires I took off. I would have thought they
anything
were the
would've been
best
better.
tires in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
But as far as ownership goes, I mean, I had a lot to overcome with that first impression, but it's growing on me at an alarming rate.
We got to take you wheeling now. And you've
Yeah.
done a little bit of off-roading with this. You've done some mud bogging and some local trails, and
Break a fog light.
you broke a fog
Yeah.
light. Yeah, ran into a couple things. Do you ever just kind of push shopping carts around in the grocery store?
I have not, but now that you've planted
You have
the
a steel
seed, I
bumper. You
certainly-
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a chance to get the entire hard top off for a couple of days. We had some
Yeah.
couple warm days here in Michigan, so Buddy helped me take it off. It's definitely a two-man job.
Yep.
That was exciting. I've taken these off numerous times. They're not difficult to remove.
Yep. This is easy. Split
And-
into two pieces.
Sound system for being 8 years old is actually surprisingly good.
Oh, good.
So
Cool.
I enjoy that. So, like I said, it's growing on me for
Nice.
sure.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, there is a focus here on fun, and I think that's important. There's something to be said about that. Let's get it on the highway, open up this 3.6 liter V6.
This car's not going to break any land speed records.
Definitely not. Cruise control is on the right. That's kind of a surprise. Usually in American cars, they're on the left. So you could just kind of rest here and operate with one hand. Something I've noticed in the years. The first thing you notice whenever you get into any Jeep is just the steering and the lack of it. It's a Jeep. What do you expect? It rides nice. It's got a little bit of wind noise on the highway. This one feels tight, no vibrations, no rattles, no shakes.
It was certainly well maintained.
It was, you could tell.
The exterior is clean. Apart from the tires, you can tell they put money into it whenever they needed to.
Yep.
And I thank them for that.
The complete lack of tech in this one is kind of refreshing now. Minimal screen, it has a navigation.
It does.
But it's like a Garmin system.
We forgot how to use it.
I forgot how to use it. Turn the volume down.
So useless. I don't know.
There it is. It tells us what's coming up, and it tells us our speed.
It does.
That's nice. That's useful.
Gives you the speed limit as well.
Yep.
It's got heated seats, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Power mirrors, windows, obviously everything here, because if you take the doors off, you lose controls otherwise.
That's right. And you lose your mirrors.
Yeah.
You've got some off-road stuff over here. You got sway bar disconnect, which works. We tried it. Axle lock.
Also tried that.
Tried that. 2 high, 4 high, 4 low. Got your transfer case down there.
Yep, we've engaged all of them.
Everything
serve
works.
their purpose.
Yeah. Hill descent control, traction off. You can't fully disable traction control in this in 4 high or 2 high, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, and even 4 low, it gives you a reduced traction system, but there's still some element of it.
All right.
From
Yeah,
what I've
because
read.
you tried to do some snow hooning, and it worked to a varying degree of success.
Yeah, it kind of corrects you pretty quickly.
Okay, all right. That's probably a good thing.
And you're not going to do snow hooning in 4 low, so.
Sure.
What I've read online is the traction control off without 4 low is about 30% removed.
Okay.
And then in 4 low, traction and stability off, they consider it somewhere around 70% removed.
Okay. Well, as far as wind noise, tire noise on the highway, it's all about equal. The roar from these mud terrain tires and the wind noise is kind of even. It's not deafening.
As it should.
Yeah. Tons of dive under braking, tons of body roll around corners. This is not a vehicle that likes to be rushed.
No.
Throttle kind of feels like it's in eco mode permanently. I think
That's a strange mode to use to describe this vehicle.
Yeah.
I got better gas mileage in my Viper.
Sure, yeah, of course.
As you mentioned, it's a no rush. It doesn't like to be rushed.
Mm-hmm.
And even driving it, I get on the highway and set the cruise at like 72 because there's no use driving any faster in this car. And I still get 15 to 16 miles per gallon.
Yeah. That sounds about right. But sometimes, with us having owned so many sports cars, you've owned some properly fast cars. Tom actually bought fast cars when he had money, and I just kept buying slow cars. But you've had Corvettes, Vipers, your daily driver, your Cadillac CTS V Sport. It's like 400 horsepower. You know, it's kind of refreshing to get into something that's slow and makes you take your time and does not like to be rushed at all. It's a different driving experience.
It is. It changes the way you drive entirely as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about cars that we've owned that we've missed. And for me, probably my number one is my black Miata. But also, I think I kind of miss my 4Runner, and you agreed with me. And these cars were kind of similar in philosophy.
Yeah, we both have had some. I had a 4Runner. You had a 4Runner. Both great examples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a 4th gen V8. You had a 5th gen early model year 5th gen.
Yep. And I mean, but the thing, if you think about, your 4Runner was built a bit for off-road ability. We took it to the sand dunes.
Mm-hmm.
The 4Runner I had was TRD, but it was entirely stock. And for example, the fog light I broke, if I did that in the 4Runner, it'd be a bumper.
Sure,
not
that's
just
right.
a replaceable plastic piece that sticks out of the steel bumper. So even though it's extremely capable, nice, much quieter, better ride, their Jeep is still just so much more utilitarian.
I love the modularity to everything, the ease of replacing parts that you've messed up and made mistakes with on the trail. It's great. I mean, there's a huge aftermarket, a great community. What's your experience thus far with like the Jeep Wave?
I'd say it's 50-50.
Yeah?
And I've also been guilty of missing it, so I understand why.
Yeah, that just feels wrong to floor it. It doesn't really accelerate much faster.
It doesn't really do much.
Yeah. as the gas light comes on. Visibility's pretty good.
Yes, visibility is great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? We are in eco mode.
So
are there drive modes?
So there's an eco gauge here in the RPM tachometer.
Or is that just a light that comes on depending on how you're driving?
So if you give it some more throttle percentage.
Oh, it goes away.
Turns
Okay.
off.
All right. It's like Lexus has that. All right.
Yeah, it kind of lets you know if you're being responsible with your 15 to 16 miles per gallon.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, gosh, anything lifted on all terrains or mud terrains with a decent amount of clearance and it's shaped like a box is gonna get brick is gonna get 15 miles to the gallon, no matter what. It doesn't matter. 4-cylinder Broncos, everything. It's all 15. And that's like the best you can do.
Yeah, the only saving grace is that you can put 87 in here.
That's right. Yeah, that helps. Is the family warming up to this a little bit?
My daughter loves it. My wife is indifferent.
Okay.
Because my daughter can see a lot more because she sits a little higher.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Outline's a little lower, comparing it to my CTS. So she loves the ability to see a lot more. But in reality, no one cares about the cars like I do.
Sure. The view over this hood is cool. This domed hood is neat.
It makes a big difference, in my opinion.
Have you had the windshield down yet?
I have not, but I'm excited to give it a whirl.
What do you do? Just unbolt a couple things and just fold it down?
Yep, I think that generally applies to most things on this car.
Okay.
Unbolt a few things and then
pull it off.
Just take it off.
Yep. This probably came with a toolkit to unbolt everything with. Just a couple wrenches and whatever. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yep. So it came with a ratchet, some T40, some larger ones.
Okay.
A socket. So far this is all I've used to take anything off.
All right, so we talked about some of the positives. The negatives, initially, a lot of them are obvious. It's a Jeep. It drives like a Jeep. It doesn't handle well. It's loud. It doesn't get very good fuel economy. But it's charming and it's fun and it's cool. Are there any negatives that like maybe aren't so obvious?
If it's muddy climbing in and out, you get it on your pant legs.
Okay.
I'm aware of it because I'm in and out of this the most commonly. But like I remember taking my parents to lunch because my dad wanted to ride in it, and my mom hopped out, and I recently went through some mud or some water or whatever. And when she got out, just entirely down her back leg, hopping out. She didn't use the rails on the side to get down. So
yeah,
that's something that if people aren't paying attention, you can ruin an outfit.
And you do not have the rock sliders on this that came from the factory.
Correct. So there were factory hard rock rails, and I think they look phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a set locally because I'd like to get it back to how it came from the factory. Right now it has the Sahara rock rails, or side
They're
rails,
just
if you will.
steps, plastic.
Which are nice and functional, but I'd like it to look like a hard rock in every aspect.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, for some reason, previous owner swapped those out.
I can see why.
Yeah.
The hard rock rails are just essentially metal bars with
sure. It kind of has its own idea of which direction it wants to go with steering. Some of it is telepathic. Some of it is contrary to that. You know, some of it just kind of just wanders. Like under braking, it was going a little bit to the left there, but I wanted to go left, so it worked out.
It did.
Yeah, it's definitely an active driving experience. Like, you have to be involved with the steering. You got to be paying attention. You can't be, you know, distracted looking around, which is fun. And I will say, in some ways, this is more engaging than a lot of modern vehicles. It feels like something that is at home and comfortable off-road, and on-road it feels a little bit out of its element. And it's cool. It's different.
It is. I stand by, it makes a great second car, which is the case for a lot of enthusiast vehicles, like an S2000 or a Corvette, whatever. In a lot of scenarios, some people can daily drive those, depending on where you live or, you know, family size or lack of family, whatever. But this is a great second vehicle. If it were to be my only vehicle, I may probably go for something a little less rugged, like a Sahara that has non-all-terrain or mud-terrain tires. But I'm starting to learn why it has such a following and why people are so dedicated to it and loyal to it.
And I think also, I mean, the difference between JK and JL is noticeable, but it's not as significant as I used to think it was. This is a well-sorted Jeep. It drives pretty much like it did off the showroom floor. Like, there's no issues here, and it's nice. It's fine. If you want to save a little bit of money over the insane prices that brand new Jeeps are going for these days, what's the average price of a new Jeep? Like $65,000 or something. Yeah, this is fine. It'll do the thing.
Well, and it's certainly off-road capable.
Absolutely.
Between all the skid plates underneath, you get quite a few. Fuel tank, all front, rear differentials, so on and so forth. I don't think you really gain any additional off-road capability, maybe a little bit of clearance or whatever, Rubicon, but in reality, most people aren't going to get the full ability out of this to begin with.
Sure. Yeah, you have to be going through some pretty gnarly stuff to get past those limits.
One of the biggest things I noticed after getting into a JL after owning this was the difference in pitch of the windshield. So that did give the JL a little bit more angle. All right. Just slightly.
All right. Yep. You don't see any rock chips or anything, but I assume that is somewhat of an issue. It usually is.
I've heard that's very common.
All these with vertical windshields. But yeah, also you haven't really been doing a ton of driving in this on the highway, so cool. All right. Well, anything else you want to add? I think that was a pretty thorough review.
No.
You got heated seats, 2 settings there.
So heated seats with the heat going, with the Freedom tops off. It's actually a pretty pleasant experience.
Okay, cool. All your vents just blasting. That's great. What was the price on this when it was new?
I believe the MSRP was $48,000.
Okay, so probably one of the pricier options back in the day.
Yep, I've got the window sticker in there somewhere. I believe $48,000. The Hard Rock package was $4,800. It is a Rubicon. It's the Unlimited. They got both tops, automatic climate, upgraded sound system. So they took advantage of some options.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the body molding and the top were body color.
Yeah, I know.
Really good.
They're always white, and it just doesn't. It'd be nice if they could change that color or make it black. Just it looks, after some miles in use, it looks a little bit dirty. It's been set down places. I guess you always just have it painted yourself, but
outside as well. If we're all just Mojave sand, I think it would look very clean.
That's right. And a couple little scuffs and scratches and rusty bits on door hinges. This was a Southern car, right?
It's a Jeep thing.
It's a Jeep thing.
You wouldn't understand.
Yeah. There we go. Got to slam that driver's door. I like how this recovery point almost goes into the exhaust tip. I mean, as far as a platform for an off-road vehicle, the approach angle is hard to beat. The departure angle is hard to beat. Just everything is pushed out to the corners. Get good breakover angles, good ground clearance. And I think this is a vehicle too that, you know, let's say you've never done any off-roading, it encourages you to try it and to go out and explore a little bit and do some things that you maybe wouldn't otherwise do. Tom, thanks again.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Appreciate your insights and input.
So I did order some JL latches.
Okay.
It's a common upgrade for these. I just need to get around to doing them.
Just pop out. All right. There it is.
Not much to it.
Not much
you
to
can
it.
see the sides of the vents I was describing earlier.
Oh yeah.
Technically vented.
Functional. Yeah, just so it doesn't get flooded in there. Are these engines known to be pretty good, pretty reliable?
They are.
Okay.
Pretty stout.
Rad.
Cool.
Yeah. Keep tight. I mean, it's all very clear.
Keep.
Yeah, at first I was giving you a hard time about this, but I respect that you stuck with it for a little bit longer than maybe you first thought. First it was going to be a bit of a flip for you, but you've held on to it and you're enjoying it. And you kind of want to hold on to it a little bit longer.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, you never know.
I feel like it'd be a crime to sell it before the weather warms up.
Yeah, you got to enjoy the
Especially-
top-down experience.
Well, and especially having the soft top also, I could just put that on and it gives me full top off.
That's right.
Very easily.
Yeah.
And then you just have to store a massive hard top also.
Find a place for it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I never remember these being rubber in the JL. Is that the upgrade?
The design's just a little more robust. I think these sometimes you get wind buffeting on the hoods with the JK latches. So
Okay.
the JL latches are commonly utilized and
I can
put
see the
on
rubber
JK.
wearing out, stretching over time.
So it's very inexpensive. I think $25 or so for the JL latches.
Okay.
And small upgrade, but something that will add value and a little bit of peace of mind.
Nice. Yep. You should really hold on to this a little longer so we can take it out on adventures with the kids when I get the Ranger Raptor.
That's an idea.
Go
as
camping?
Long as it's not too far away.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine a road trip in this car.
No, we'll keep it like somewhat local. Yeah.
Buddy immediately, a fellow Jeep owner, immediately said, "Let's go to Silver Lake." And I was like, "I'm not driving this across the state."
Not gonna happen. Cool. All right, well, that'll be it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video. Take care. Now we gotta go give you guys an update on the S2000 because that's been a minute.
It has.
Yeah,
We've
done many things to the
we
S2000.
have. Yes, it's become quite glorious.
Yeah, it's really good.
It
Like
is.
we've probably spent too much money on it, but it's been worth it. Like it's still been worth it.
The smiles have been nothing but increasing
Yeah.
and approaching, like with this, approaching perfect weather for it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The few warm days we've had already.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the cool. Until the Bronco showed up or the Gladiator showed up, like this is the only SUV you can take the roof off of, and it's just so cool because of it. It really enhances the fun factor and the ownership experience. No, we had one of these in our during our honeymoon in Hawaii. It was just a base model rental Jeep. All the rental cars in Hawaii are Jeeps, and we had the roof off for the whole road to Hana. It was just awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
Didn't do any off-roading really, but it was just fun. Easy to take the two panels off of the top and
Yep.
throw them in the back, and yeah.
Yeah, similar story. We rented a Jeep with the One Touch.
Oh
All the
yeah.
way back.
Yep.
We drove from Fort Lauderdale to Key West.
Oh yeah.
I mean, great car for that.
Sure. Yep.
So,
Well, it begins.
yeah. If we had filmed this 5 weeks ago, my tone and the smile on my face entirely different.
Yeah, I mean tires. That makes the biggest difference. Transforms the whole experience. And I mean, I had the Firestone Destination XTs, which were the all-terrain kind of alternative to this. So these are way more aggressive. But Firestone, their Destination series, they're really impressive tires. The XTs were fantastic. They did really well in the snow. They did really well in the mud. They were reasonably quiet. These are a little bit louder because they're mud terrains, but all things considered, mud terrains now are way better than mud terrains were 10 years ago. And that's just, case in point here with what you guys heard on the drive today. So did you drive these in the snow at all?
I have a little bit.
Okay, were they okay?
Yeah, they did great.
Yeah, all right.
They were brand new,
Sure.
which always helps.
Yep.
But yeah, they did fine. I wasn't too worried.
That's good. Yep. Sweet. Well, I can't really think of anything else to talk about, so that's going to be it.
All right.
Again, we'll end the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Take care.